Alright, hello and welcome to the 5th episode of our Pathfinder Ultimate Guide series, Wrath of the Righteous. Last time out, we defeated the remaining parts of the Prologue, including the Grey Garrison, and also the rest of the Shield Maze, including all of the enemies in there. We also left off just arriving in the Defender's Heart up here. You might notice this terrain type urban. That'll come in handy sooner rather than later. We'll explain more about that mechanic at some point. Anyway, for this episode, I want to go through the initial tavern here, set up our starting moves, and also lay out the plan of attack for how to get the most out of the opening act of the game, which is Act 1. With that out of the way, we will now move forwards and we will take Draken on his first quest here. Anevia will stop you as soon as you move out of the room. She will warn you that you have a limited amount of time before there's gonna be an attack on this place. If you click the first dialogue option, you get a new quest. If you click the first option again, she will warn you that you have to go to a location called the Marketplace, as the city has been divided, as we saw in the first episode. With that, let's make a list of people we want to talk about. 1 being Gemyl Hawks behind the bar here. 2, Horgus, someone we already know. 3, which is optional, Camellia, Lann, and Cellar up here. 4, Forn Autumn Haze in the back room over here, found just here on the map. 5, someone we'll meet in the basement. And 6, Tirabith over here. And lastly, you might see Anevia here. We will also have to talk to her. You can either throw in a quick save, use your Inspire Competence ability, and turn it off immediately after, and then talk to Horgus. Thank you. We get our 2,000 gold since we persuaded him in the Neform area, and he will ask you that, or he will say that he has a job for you. He wants you to take Camellia with you. This is Camellia's start for her companion quest. But if you ask what kind of reward are we talking about, we get another diplomacy check here for 23, and he will say 1,000 gold coins, and we can again ask him to double it. We succeed the diplomacy skill check by rolling in 20, and we'll accept the deal. And we are also given the Gwyrm's mansion on our map, which we'll get to momentarily. His family secret quest completes, and we get 144 experience as well. If we talk to Gemyl Hawks, there's a passive law religion check, something new. Sometimes you roll passive checks of various different kinds before triggering in some cases, in some dialogues, you will find hidden law or knowledge or something else entirely checks, and if you click them for the medallion you're wearing, that's a sacred symbol, isn't it? And you are cleric of Caden Kalian. Not only do we get 5 experience that we wouldn't have had, but we learn a bit more about him. If you ask him any news in the city, are there any places worthy visiting, the Pitaxian wine cellar comes up. Clicking the next button, we reveal the Pitaxian wine cellar on our map. Now we can trade with him by pressing 1, and we can sell all of the trash we picked up. We can also click on masterwork weapons now, since we're pretty much past the phase of caring. Always make sure to double check if there's something you want to keep, but in this case it looks a-okay. We get 3,100 gold, and we'll undergo his list later, or his complete list, but we want to purchase this bag of holding small right now, and that is pretty much it. We could also purchase the spicy pastry and a few first aid kits as well. Let's buy, say, 10 of these. Everything else is of less importance. This is good if you're rolling a drunken monk. You might have noticed we are now with light and zero incumbents. We are actually at a minus 43 weight since we bought this, and it carries an additional 100 pounds. There are 3 of these bags in the game, and you want to make sure you pick these up. Moving back to the kitchen area, if you hold tab again, you might see some loot. There's some purifying solutions. We will also talk to Jernaugh. That's our 9th character we want to talk to. There's some food here. You might want to throw in a quick save or boost your skills. If we ask Forn Haze, do you need any help? Who wounded you? I am Draken Shadowliar, or your character's name. You can trust me, I might be able to help you. Who is your quarry here in Mendev? And he'll say that he's hunting a Deskerite by the name of Kaelessa. Keep that name in mind, by the way, this right here. I'm sorry for your misfortune. I hope things will turn differently next time. You can now ask him to aid in his hunt, and we're met with a DC of 26 Knowledge World. If you either fail or succeed, you get progress on the Outcast quest, but in this case I succeed and gain 45 more experience. You can also ask to know more about him, refresh my memory about Kaelessa, remind him again, I have no more questions, and will be met with another perception check. You might notice that it's not our main character, but instead Lann who has the highest perception. In most cases, with the exception of very few skill checks, your companions, whichever companion has the highest skill check in the given skill, or will be the one doing the skill check for you. So in this case, Lann will step up. Before attempting this perception check, you could click I have to go, throw in a quick save, or use your Inspire competence again, and try this again. We succeed the perception check, gain 24 experience, and he questions that a drow, which is perhaps Kaelessa's identity, is highly unlikely. We can simply say I have to go. Circling back to the kitchen, we want to talk to Jernaugh and say, are you from around here? Chili Creek? Where is that? Continue. Chili Creek has been revealed, another new location. We also get the Cold Waters quest start, heading up to Anevia here. If we ask her one, we get the Silken thread Atelier that's revealed. Also the Topaz solutions. We want to remember Wisali Rathimus, not only now but also for later, as he will be a cleric, but perhaps play a more role than we initially expected. Next up, there's actually an additional character that we want to talk to, Indarah, back in this corner here, close to Cellar. When you get to the point where you can choose between 5 options, choosing option number 3. You're wrong to treat the Crusaders with such disdain. Allow me to explain. You are now met with 2 separate chances. Both gives the same experience, and you will be given a nice short sword upon succeeding either one of these. Let's try our luck. We succeed the diplomacy check, gain 13 experience, and we get an item called the Claw of Jistka. If we ask Cellar, number 2 here, or actually number 3, we get a new update in A Friend in Need is a Friend Indeed, which is Cellar's companion quest. Furthermore, we are also met with 2 separate options, chaotic or lawful. Since I am a chaotic character, I'll go for the chaotic option and will simply say thank you for speaking to me. If you do not want to see the options, you can click this on Immersive Mode, found in Game and Game Settings all the way at the bottom here. This mode disables almost all interface hints in combat, lines of attack, current enemy actions, cooldown timers. It shows your character's actions and enemies' health bars. Additional options are available in game. The Blackwing library is revealed, and we get some more progression in the Burning City journal updates. Remember to press J every now and then, and keep these red ones in mind as they will expire upon the act being done. We've also gotten some new quests, the Cold Waters from Jernaugh, the Outcast from Forn, the Errand, a new quest type, the Divided City, and an update to Horgus Gwyrm's quest, Gwyrm's Family Secrets. Lastly, we want to head down in this corner here, where we talk to Forn, and go to the basement. There are 2 things we want. One of them is Woljif here in the prison cell, and we'll simply move forwards. Make sure to loot all the things around here, especially this shield, and you might see some hand icons on the walls here. There's one here, this lever, there's one here, this lever, and one behind the shield we just looted that we can also choose. If you click the one by the shield, the button won't budge, and we'll have to pull a couple of these levers up and down. You will see a door opening. If you click this middle one down and this one over here up, interact with this button again, a hidden compartment opens. Let's go in there, shall we? There's some loot, and more importantly, a unidentified helmet, some scrolls of different kinds, a potion, some elemental essence, and let's see if we can identify this helmet. This is a headband of alluring charisma +2. Let's take a look at that. If we put this on our helmet slot with our main character, notice our charisma score, it increases by +2, and our modifier is now +3. Two of them, of course, coming from that headband. I will put this for now on my main character. Another good alternative is your Cellar or any other charisma-based character, but for now I will simply have it on my main character here. This is the special sword we got, the Claw of Jistka from Indarah. It has 1d6 fire, it possesses some various qualities, flaming, enhancement +1, just a regular +1, and it's something called finesse wielding. Finesse wielding swords or finesse wielding weapons can be used in both hands to better effect. Let's go and meet Woljif in this prison cell. If you press dialogue option number 2, what do you want from me? Perhaps we want to keep this sentence in mind. I'll sell whatever you want at a reasonable price, but also ask him number 1, I can't help you while you're chained up, and say, alright, I'll talk to Erebeth about your situation. You could ask him any of the other questions there, but for now we'll head upstairs, zoom our camera over to Erebeth, talk to her, say there's a tiefling chained up in the Defender's Heart, and simply say I have to go again. Actually, wait, there's one more thing here. Tell me about, if you run through her dialogues or her questions, you might be able to get a law religion check pass. I can't imagine the followers of Sun Kuthon in alliance with demon worshippers. Shouldn't they hate each other? Gain some experience? When you ask her option number 4 about the Eagle Watch, this is actually quite important for the quote-unquote best ending for Erebeth. This one, on the contrary, if it wasn't for you, will set a hidden meter up by 1, I believe, and this one at the bottom will decrease that exact number by 1. So we'll just tell her that she did a wondrous job and say I have to go. We can now make our way down to Woljif again, talk to him, say that we talked to Erebeth, and we've decided to accept him into our troop. We get a nice chunk of experience, 180 to be exact. We are also met with the Tiefling hideout location. A short cutscene plays, and Woljif is let out, and off he goes. If you've done everything correctly, or perhaps missed a few skill checks, you either are very close or hit level 4. Before we do any of that, if you're playing on the lower difficulties especially, there's a man here called High Law, but there are 2 things I need to tell you about. One of them, you can ask to hire mercenaries by this option here, and if you're playing on the lower difficulties, it will also allow you to re-spec, meaning effectively level up your characters from level 1 again. If you click this option here and you are not leveled up to level 3, the mercenaries will cost 4,000 gold instead of 7,500 gold. At level 2, I believe they cost 2,000 gold, so they scale in cost each level your party or just main character is. Before we do any of the level ups though, let's head outside, and there's also a few things, a few loot containers, and a couple of people we have to talk to. First, let's head up these stairs here, loot this little crate before that, follow this wooden path, and just here you'll see another loot container. You can simply head down again, and off he goes, and before you make too much progress outside, you will be met with a little cosmetic guy, this golden golem person. What we really though came out for in this location here, outside the tavern, is this person here, Joran Vane, the brother of Staunton Vane. Let's talk to him. The important part here is that we want to show Radiance, the sword we picked up last episode, to him. Do you recognize this sword? And he does. And he will say at some point when you meet him again, he will upgrade this sword for you for free. He'll forge you a scabbard. You can also see his wares. He sells primarily weapons, armor, a few special ones in terms of accessories, and a couple of quivers, and a few magical items as well. If you're playing any of the exotic weapons, you might be able to spot a few of them here, but I just want you to keep in mind that this guy is your quote-unquote weapon broker and armor broker for the opening act of this game. With that being said, let's go over level 4. As for our bard, our 4th level will be indeed going to the Dirge Bard. We unlock level 2 spells. We get one more Bab, and every 4th level we will get the opportunity to allocate an additional skill point. If you are making a follow-along character, I will be picking Strength here, and on every 4th level from here on out, meaning level 8, 12, 16 and 20. So let's go over our skills. We want perhaps a bit of persuasion, both of the knowledge and, let's say, lore religion. As for our level 2 spells, Glitter Dust and Heroism. Heroism we already know and love, and Glitter Dust, let's go over that. A cloud of golden particles covers everyone and everything in the area, causing creatures to become blinded. Let's go over this. The creature cannot see. It takes a -2 penalty to AC and loses its dex bonus to AC, if any. All opponents are considered to have total concealment, 50% mischance against the blinded creature. Blindness can be removed by the Remove Blindness spell. So, if we cast this on enemies and they fail their saving throws, they will become blind. And if they attack, they will have to first get through 50% concealment and then our AC. So quite a good spell. It also highlights all of the creatures covered, visibly outlining, though every now and then they may attempt a new will saving throw to end the blindness effect. Let's complete our level 4 for Draken. When it comes to Cellar, we will put her 4th level into Paladin. She gains an additional use of Smite Evil. Her BAB increases by 1, she gets some more saving throw increases as well. She gets something called Channel Positive Energy. When a paladin reaches 4th level, she gains a supernatural ability to channel positive energy like a cleric. Using the ability consumes 2 uses of her Lay on Hands ability. This energy can be used to cause or heal damage depending on the creature's targeted. Channeling positive energy causes a burst that affects all creatures of one type, either undead or living, in a 30-foot radius centered around the paladin. The amount of damage dealt or healed is equal to 1d6 points of damage plus 1d6 of damage for every 2 paladin levels beyond Thirst, for 2d6 at 4th, which we're at right now, 3d6 at 5th, and so on. Blah 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 blah. Everything else is of less importance, other than it uses the Paladin's Charisma modifier, which is also why we boost her Charisma, and we will do so for the remaining levels as well, 8, 12, and so on, up to a total of 20 base. As for her skill points, I've put in 1 into Knowledge World, 1 into Perception, and 1 into Magic Device. She also, as mentioned, gains these special abilities, but more importantly, level 1 Paladin spells. When it comes to Lann, we will continue going Ranger Demon Slayer with him, and here is a few options. If you've up until this point spent your ability or levels in Monk, Zen, Archer, you want to increase Wisdom. If you're following this guide, however, or this build, Ranger Demon Slayer, you can either increase Dex or Strength. Strength increases the damage and Dex increases the chance to hit. I prefer, at least for this level, going into Dex. As for his skill points, it's quite straightforward. Athletics, Mobility, Law Nature, Perception, Mobility for the late game bow, Law Nature just because it's our highest skill right now, and Perception because Perception is always good to have. Now the next tab here is quite important. It's the favorite terrain type. You might have noticed that the tavern was in something called urban terrain, but a lot of chapter 1 is also in the urban since we're fighting in Canabris. So by selecting this while in your favorite terrain, you gain a +2 bonus on initiative and law nature, perception and stealth skill checks. Each time you select an additional favorite terrain, the skill bonus and initiative increases by 2, and you can also select more favorite terrains as you get on. So we also get something called Demonologist. At 3rd level, a Demon Slayer gains insight into his abyssal enemies. The Demon Slayer gains a bonus equal to half his class level, so right now it's 2 since he's level 4, on Knowledge Arcana skill checks. So suddenly Lann has actually become quite decent at some of these skill checks here. Let's complete that. Next up is Camellia, and we'll put her 4th level as well into Spirit Hunter. I prefer going into Dex since most of her wisdom spells, or since most of her spells are focused on buffing and not so much on damaging enemies. Therefore, putting one into Dex increases all of these stats, more initiative, a bit more armor class as well, some combat stuff, and more skill checks in the Dex skills. We also get more chance to hit as well. So let's lock that in. Trickery and Perception. Trickery is just a no-brainer on Camellia. It's already at a plus 12. Even Woljif, who joins in, who's focused on a rogue, is at plus 11. Perception, as mentioned, always great. As for her Hex, if you're playing on the lower difficulties, something like Ice Plant or Evil Eye or Protective Lock, or something like Chant, which extends the duration of either of these mentioned hexes by an additional round. I will be going Evil Eye here. So her level ups are quite straightforward. The remaining dex or the remaining attribute points will also go into Dex once that becomes available. So let's complete Camellia's level up. Now, the most common ways you could take Woljif here is either putting one more level into Rogue Eldritch Scoundrel here to get something called Debilitating Injury, which I actually prefer doing because we get the opportunity to choose between 3 different negative buffs, or debuffs, excuse me, that you can put on your enemies. I prefer Bewildered. The target becomes bewildered, taking a -2 penalty to AC. The target takes an additional -2 penalty to AC against all attacks made by the rogue, so -2 for everyone in the party and -4 for Woljif himself. And the rest is irrelevant. Penalty to AC against attacks made by the rogue increases by -2 to a maximum of -8. So if you really want to, you could put him all the way up to level 20 to get that benefit. Scaling is not going to be at level 20, but it's going to be at 16th level. That was a bit of a tangent. The other option is something called Alchemist, and then going into something called Vivisectionist. Vivisectionist, grants an immediate sneak attack dice. It also grants mutagen, which is super good. I cannot overstate how good this is. You can boost any of your 4 stats by 4, or excuse me, that was wrong to say. You can boost any of these stats, Constitution, Dex, or Strength, by 4, and it's an alchemical bonus for 10 minutes per level. So it lasts a long time as well. Though for the case of this guy, I'll put the 4th level, into Eldritch Scoundrel. I will also increase his dex, which we will do up until level 16. And for his level 20, you could boost his con, so you can get that up to a 14 instead. As for his skills, they are already boosted, the best ones anyway. Mobility, Trickery, Stealth, Perception, and Use Magic Device. As for his 4th level spells, or the 2nd level spells, I prefer going with Mirror Image, which is essentially what you're going to spam, since Woljif is a melee character, so this is a defense spell. Other good options is Cat's Grace, Blur, let's see, False Life, since he goes into melee, not bad. Sense Vitals is also good. Magic Weapon, at least for now. Shield, and True Strike. And I think the second spell I'll select is probably gonna be False Life. So, the reason why we go 4 levels into Eldritch Scoundrel is also because we get level 2 spells on him, aka Mirror Image and False Life and such. Let's complete that, and that wraps up the levels for our new characters and also Woljif. Make sure that Woljif is using the Bewildered one when you get out to that point. Let's go over the plan of attack for this opening act of the game, which is called Act 1. Let's bring Woljif along, like so. Allow me to welcome you to the quote-unquote world map for the Act 1. You might see some different question marks here, and these are all different locations. There are various kinds of locations, such as this one. You can procure some regions for consumable items here. These are of the least importance. And there are also major locations like Market Square, Blackwing Library, which is the main quest, Thiefling's Hideout, which is Woljif's quest, Pitaxian Wine Cellar, which we got from Gemyl Hawks, the bartender, Silken Thread and Topaz Solutions, and Terabate Residence from different characters in the tavern, Gwyrm's Mansion, and the Tower of Estrad. Before laying out the plan of action, allow me to give you a small spoiler warning. It's not game break or anything else. Essentially, you have 3 days of in-game time from when you first reach the screen. Right now, it's the 16th of Aradis, and it's 22:43, which means we have around about till the 19th or 20th of Aradis before the Defender's Heart gets under attack. With that being said, the reason why we brought that up is because some of these locations change depending on if you do them before or after the Defender's Heart. One of them is the Blackwing Library, another one is the Market Square, and the last one is also the Tower of Estrad. The most important one is probably Blackwing Library, followed by Tower of Estrad, and then Market Square. Everything else, including the Silken Thread, Gwyrm's Mansion, and so on, can be completed in any order you want. However, for the purposes of this guide, you might see this Thiefling's Hideout here. This is part of Woljif's quest. His quest takes about 5 hours of in-game time to complete fully, not only for the rewards, but also it will make our life significantly easier in the Market Square, which is our next major location, which we will tackle in episode 6. With that being said, I think we have time to do the Thiefling's Hideout. As you can see, the journey will take 1 hour, so it will bring us about up to midnight. So let's travel there, and we make it up there without any random combat encounters. Whenever you move on most maps in the game, there's a good chance that you might be ambushed by some random enemies that are level appropriate, of course, but they are quite annoying to deal with, at least when you've dealt with them thousands upon thousands of times. Anyway, let's enter the Thiefling's Hideout. To give you an idea of what we are doing the companion quest, Stolen Moon, and our objective is to talk to Sister Charisme. Right, let's move in and talk to Sister Charisme. Essentially, this quest boils down to these people being caught, and Woljif also being caught in a heist to steal a valuable ring, and we will now have to figure out who the traitor is that ended up getting them caught. First of all, we can loot a couple of pouches and stuff. Inside this one, however, there's something quite great. A lockpicker's kit 1. This lockpicker's kit grants its owner a +1 bonus on all trickery checks. So let's see who has the highest trickery. Go into character. Camellia has 13, but it's decreased by 3, so actually 16, and Woljif has 13, so it doesn't really matter who we put it on. We will simply put it on Camellia, like so. She should now have 14 trickery. Now then, the quest has updated to deducing the traitor's identity. Erebeth may know the name of the person who tipped off the Eagle Watch about the shop robbery, so we basically have to head back to the Defender's Heart. Let's do that. We get back no worries. Let's head in. Let's go ask Erebeth about the traitors. There's a traitor I'm trying to track down. Who's your informant among the Thieflings? We get a new location revealed. Ancientries and Wonders shop. The Stolen Moon progresses. Erebeth is sure that the informant was a Tiefling with long horns. Perhaps the Sentinel Golem in Ancientries and Wonders can offer more information. So the Ancientries and Wonders was of course the shop where they were caught. You can freely pick up that book, it's just flavor. Let's head towards the gate and towards this new location we discovered. As you can see, a new location, Ancientries and Wonders, is now revealed on the other side of this ravine here that was caused by Discari in the opening sequence. We make it up to Ancientries and Wonders without any encounters, and here we are then. As you can see, the shop has been thoroughly ransacked, or at least destroyed. We can loot a scroll of blessed weapon, and someone is calling for our attention. In the corner here, there's a perception of 19, so quite high indeed. This is perhaps the golden ring that they were talking about, that Woljif was trying to get. Another perception check of 16 here. Underneath this bowl here, or this lootable container here, is a little Pipe Fox. Pipe Fox provides a +3 insight bonus on Knowledge Arcana and a +2 insight bonus on Perception checks. Let's put that on Draken, and to enable that effect, simply click the Pipe Fox in your usable items belt. Like so. Now you might question yourself, where on earth did this come from? It comes from a free DLC that you can install on your own, and it only provides a +1 on all of the knowledge and lore checks. So let's see the effects of that Pipe Fox then. We are now on some decent stats. There we are, +3 insight from Pipe Fox, so we're at 13, and a bit more perception as well on Draken. Let's talk to this person or thing underneath this wardrobe here. Make sure you click option number 4 here. Alright, I'll take you with me. And here's the important part why we want to come here first anyway. I swear you won't regret it. I can do all sorts of things. Is there anything your party's missing? A sword, a spear, a bow? Just say the word and receive the item, Finian the Talking Web. Let's take a look at that. Now you might see we've gotten a new button here. If you click this, you can either start a dialogue with Finian. That'll come in handy in many hours time. But for now, you can click this purple bar here, and you can select any weapon you ever so desire of the martial and simple proficiency groups. So in theory I could get a, say, heavy crossbow, and this now has Cold Iron, Ghost Touch, a very important quality to have when we go to the market square, and it's enhanced by +1 as well. For now though, I think I'll use this I'll use Finian as a dagger and give him to Woljif. You might see he's wielding 2 daggers with a +7, since he has 2 weapons. If we pull this over here, we get some more damage on his main hand. The reason he can use 2 weapons to better effect is because he has this feat here, 2 weapon fighting. If we move over to the corner here, you might see a white pile of rubble, similar to the Sword of Angels in episode 2. So let's interact with this. Remember the password, Hand of Irory, I don't know, correct? Awaiting orders. If you ask him about any suspicious people and ask if any of the suspicious people were tieflings, you can ask to describe the young male, the middle-aged male, and the female tiefling. Once you run through his dialogue, if you go here to your journal again, the sentinel golem saw a dark-skinned, red-haired tiefling man with straight horns, but golems have limited memory. Better find the shop's owner and ask him. Now, if you interact with this pile of rubble again, ask him where his master is, where's the basement, where did you come from, a athletics of 16 suddenly appears. Let's say I found out everything I've wanted to know, and try this athletics check. If you attempt to move him, if you fail, you'll lose 15 minutes of time, and if you succeed, you gain 13 experience. Don't worry, even if you fail, you will still move the golem out of the way. Let's go to the basement. We see someone called Philomene Froliatos. When you move towards this person here, try to calm him down, or any of these options don't really matter what you do. At some point you'll be met with either both a bluff 20 and an intimidate 19 check. We succeed the bluff check. We can now ask about the identities of the tieflings that were in there. Let's ask about the red-haired tiefling. One more look into the journal. A red-haired tiefling who wears a green cloak is the traitor. Now all that remains is to put the pieces together and expose the culprit. Back in the tiefling's hideout here, we can talk to Sister Cresme to reveal the traitor. However, let's first zoom in. There are 2 tieflings with red hair, but only one of them is wearing the cape here, or the green cape, so it's probably the one called Melrune. Let's say to Charisme that we are ready to give her a name, and the traitor is Melrune. Now, if you're playing a tiefling of any kind after the traitor's identity have been revealed, you can ask to join the family. This is also available if you're not, but you won't get this coming reward here. The Thiefling Ring. This is only available if you're playing a tiefling for your main character. At some point when you say, I have to go, Woljif will demand an apology, and we can try a diplomacy check of 20. If you succeed the first diplomacy check, you can be met with the Intimidate 22 check. These checks are quite difficult and quite high, so if you're playing with me, you could try and use your Inspire Competence ability to increase that just a bit. The reason why you want to succeed both of these skill checks is one, for the vault key, but also that if you do not, the rewards we get behind this door out to the top right here is quite bad compared to what we are going to get from getting these vault keys, as well as persuading or bullying Charisma into apologizing to Woljif properly. These checks have to be done in succession, so either quick save or use the Inspire competence. Move up to the right here, behind this gate. Furthermore, you might want to throw in another quick save, since behind this door this door is a hidden perception check. In this case, we discover both the perception check and a trap in the corner here. We disarm the trap. Can I move my camera, please, game? Get some small loot. The ring is going to be gone if you do not persuade Charisma, and the stuff behind here, this chest remains the same. However, the 1500 gold will also be gone. So the major rewards of this vault here is going to be quite bad. We're only going to be met with these kukri and kama, and perhaps some less good stuff as well. Let's go over the rings that we got. One of them being from our Tiefling heritage, from our main character, and the other being the ring that we got from persuading Charisma. First of all, the ring from Charisma, the Ring of Sharp Strikes. Whenever the wearer of this ring hits an enemy with a ranged attack, that enemy suffers a -1 penalty on attack rolls for 1 round. If that wasn't obvious, let's put it on Lann, like so. And as for this ring, the Thiefling ring, that you are only going to get if you are a Tiefling with your main character. This ring grants its wearer a +2 competence bonus on trickery and stealth. If the wearer is a Tiefling, the bonus increases to +3. So that goes on Woljif, since he's also a Tiefling, like so. We can now see his trickery and stealth is much higher, which means we will also put this lockpicker's kit on him as well, like so. You might also notice this spicy pastry that we bought. If you right click it, you can copy the recipe and you will be able to learn how to cook it in the future. So let's sort our inventory, and I think that pretty much wraps up what we wanted with this episode. We reached level 4, we recruited Woljif, we completed his companion quest, we got some nice items, and we explained our plan of attack. The next episode, episode 6, is going to be visiting this fallen horse just to get the ingredients, but more importantly, the market square. Consider this your last official spoiler warning of episode 5 here. After we do the market square, we will move to the Blackwing library, and then through here we will go to the Defender's Heart automatically. The details will be explained in the correspondent episode, and then we'll visit the Tower of Estrid. With the spoiler warning out of the way, I welcome you back, but I also unfortunately have to cut this video short here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.